Hey guys, it is me Kayla. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm actually doing a tutorial video. So this was highly requested on my Twitter to do a updated thumbnail tutorial. A while ago I actually used to use GIMP, and last month I got Photoshop. Actually, I think it was like 2 months ago. I got Photoshop and I started making my thumbnails using Photoshop. And you guys really did like them, and you really wanted to see me do a thumbnail tutorial. This was highly requested, so that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be using Adobe Photoshop CC. So if you guys want me to do an updated tutorial on how to use GIMP and apply the same skills that I'm going to be showing in this video, but on GIMP, let me know down in the comments, and I will definitely try and fit that into my giant recording schedule I have right now for all of my videos. So let me know. And yeah, so pretty much I'm just gonna be showing you all the steps on how to do this. This video is probably going to be a bit more longer and lengthier because this is going to be showing you how to make thumbnails. So I hope you all enjoy this. Sit back and relax. I definitely recommend you first watch the video to see what I'm doing, and then definitely try this for yourself. If you do have Photoshop, this is going to be really easy for you, and yeah, you don't have to buy it. But if you don't have Photoshop, I totally do recommend you give it a try. Maybe even try a free trial, and if you do like it, definitely recommend you buy it. There's nothing wrong with GIMP, but the quality in Photoshop is much better. But I mean, GIMP is still the same thing, but it is a step up, so I totally do recommend sometime in your YouTube I guess thing, you totally try and invest in Photoshop. It works really nice, and I recommend it so much. It is pricey, but it is really worth it. But anyways, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get right into this tutorial. Sorry for the lengthy intro, but yeah, go ahead, sit back and relax, and let's just go ahead and get right into it. So the first step I actually explained in my first tutorial video, so I will put an eye up in the right hand corner so you can check that video out. And it's pretty much about CAS poses and whatnot, but I did not explain live mode poses. So pretty much what you're going to need is some live mode poses. So I will leave some of my favorites down below following some CAS poses that are my favorite right now. And once we get into the game, you want to make sure you have Andrew's pose player installed. I will leave a link down below to the download, and I will leave a video on how to use Andrew's pose player. Then what you want to do is download a pose room. My favorite one is Shifty's, so I will put her gallery name up on the screen so you can see. Then I will use some cheats such as testing cheats on and headline effects off so you cannot see the plumb bob. Then I will go into tab mode and take some screenshots of my sim, and then from there we're going to go right into Photoshop and start some editing. Okay guys, so now we are in Photoshop. In my first video I actually used GIMP. If you guys do want an updated tutorial on how to use GIMP now, kind of following these same steps, let me know down in the comments, and I will definitely try and get something out like that. Photoshop is going to look a little overwhelming if you have not used it at all, but trust me, when you know the basics and whatnot on how to make a thumbnail in this, it's going to be really easy and whatnot. So we're going to go ahead, get right into it. So first what you want to do is you want to come over here. I'm going to quickly move this. You want to come over here to where it says create new, and this is going to be creating your new, I guess, I don't know, your preset or whatnot. The thumbnail width and height that you want is the width needs to be 1280 and the height needs to be 720, and you want to make sure you have pixels and make sure the orientation is landscape. And I just always keep it like this, so you can copy my settings if you want. And then once you have all of that set up, you're going to want to go ahead and click create. So now we have created our first layer, our background, I guess. Here it is. It's a locked layer. This is going to be our first one and stuff. So yeah, you might be coming into Photoshop and it might look a little overwhelming. I know it kind of does, but I do want to clear up some things before we start. So if you end up accidentally deleting your toolbox, I'm going to show you how to get that back. So I'm going to click delete. See, I've deleted my toolbox. So you want to come up into window, and then if you scroll all the way down here, it should say tools, and then it will just automatically regenerate you a new toolbox. So make sure when you're exiting, you come up here to the X, or you come into file and click exit. But now after just explaining that, because that happened to be the first time I got into Photoshop and I did not know how to get that back. But once when your thing looks like this, your background might not look like this because I just randomly changed that by doing this. But you want to come into File and you want to click Open, and now you want to go ahead and find the picture of your sim that you took a picture of in CAS mode or in live mode. If you don't know how to get to your Sims 4 pictures, you want to go into Documents or wherever you have your Sims 4 stored. And mine's in, I think mine's in my data. It's in one of my hard drives. And then you want to go into Electronic Arts, Sims 4, and then you want to look for the folder that says Screenshots. And then you want to scroll down until you find your picture. Here they are. So I have some CAD poses to show you. This is the reason why I recommended in my video. If you want to go watch that, which I hopefully you did, that's why I recommended you got a solid background if you were going to do it in CAS. And plus, this is why I recommended you take a CAS pose room, so there is a solid background. So when it comes to cropping out our Sims, it's going to be so much more easier. So I'm going to choose one of mine in live mode because I have like a reshade on right now. So I'm going to choose, which one shall I choose?
A few moments later.
Yeah, we're choosing this one. So once you click on the one you want, make sure it's selected in blue. You want to click Open. So now it's created a new, I guess, background. It shows this one right here, folks. But if you do want to come back to the other layer we just made for your thumbnail, just come over here and it should be there, hopefully. But to come back over here, you just click over here. And if you want to X out of this, come over here and click that X. But now, what we're going to do is we want to drag this layer over to our starter background, I guess. I'm sorry if I'm bad at explaining this. I'm not good with explaining things, but I'm going to try my hardest here. So what you want to do is this layer right here, which is your background, your sim, and whatnot. What you want to do is drag, and once when it shows this, you should be able to still see this background of your sim. What you want to do is you want to click and drag that over to the background we just made for our YouTube thumbnail. So then you want to click and drag over here. Then you can X out of here and your sim should be transported over here, if that makes sense. Okay, sorry, I just went a little overhead. I'm used to this, I'm sorry. But once we have your sim in your original background, I guess, it's going to make a new layer over here. And so what we want to do is, so we can adjust this, you can also come over here to the move tool and move that and stuff. But if you want to transform it a bit, you want to come over to edit and then free transform, and then it should show you some of these little transforming buttons so you can move down. I know if you like shift and click, it should let you transform freely, but I don't do that because I will literally mess up so much. So I'm just going to do it like this. And once when you get it to the desired width and height, I guess you want it, you can go ahead and just click somewhere else on the screen and it should get you out of free transform mode. So I'm just gonna, I guess, we could have my sim like right over here, maybe like right there. I think that looks good. Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna have her right there, and then I just click on the move tool and then it gets me right out of free transform. So now what we want to do is crop out this background. So if you used a solid background, this is where it's going to come. It's really easy. This part kind of seems a little tricky, but it's actually not once we get the hang of it. So you want to come over to your toolbox and you want to click magic wand. There are actually two ways. If you right click, you do have some other options such as quick selection tool and the magic wand. The quick selection is this, where you kind of just click and drag until you find it like this. And there's also a minus tool, so say you accidentally, say I didn't want like a little part of this selected, so I just minus that and whatnot, and then I come over to the plus. But I kind of don't like this because I usually mess up with this all the time, like that. So we're not going to use that one for the sake of this tutorial, but it is an option. So if you're selecting on something like this, on your keyboard, click Control D to unselect. So there is a little keyboard shortcut, or you can come up to select and click deselect. and then also reselect to reselect what we just did, but I'm going to click deselect. So we're going to use the magic wand tool. So pretty much you want to select on your background. So I'm going to select over here, and then to select two things at once, you want to hold shift and then click on the next thing. But once when you selected it, you want to come up into select and you want to click inverse, or instead of clicking inverse, you can just click delete and it will delete the background. But I'm going to show you a way that's going to make your sim look super pretty and awesome. So once when you clicked inverse, then what you want to come over here to your layers bar and you want to click this button. It's add layer mask. So once when you click that, it's deleted the background. It is magic, folks, with the magic wand in Photoshop. So over here, it's going to add another, I guess, layer to your layer thumbnail of your sim. So you want to make sure that you're selected on this part of your sim, I guess, and you want to right click and you want to click select and mask. So what you can do is kind of fix up the edges of your sim. I have like a little setting thing that I always use this, so you can go ahead and copy this if you like, or you can mess around with these and, you know, just do as you please if you want to mess around with them and see if you can make your own. So once when you have that, you can click OK. And now you've selected and masked your sim. So for me, there's always this green line. So what I usually come over and do is come to the erase tool. So yeah, we're just going to quickly erase that. You can change the opacity of your brush and whatnot over here, and the size and the hardness over up here if you were wondering. But now that we have our sim erased, we're gonna do some editing. This is what I usually do for creative sims. Even when I'm creating a let's play thumbnail, I do these because it makes your sims look very, I don't know, it just kind of enhances them and it makes your sim look so much more cleaner. And I don't know, a little less pixely, if that makes sense. It's not going to be like a full-on speed edit. It's just going to be some quick touch-ups. So I'm going to introduce you all to three little, I guess, brushes or whatever over on the toolbox. So the first one that we're going to be using today is the smudge tool. The smudge tool is going to make everything look more smoother and softer, if that makes any sense. So the smooth tool is what I use, I guess, to make everything look more softer, as I just said. So if you come up here, you can change the size. I usually go by 44. And then for the brush, I think, what brush do I use? I literally don't know what I use. So now if we use the smudge tool and I go on my sim's hair, look at that difference, folks. That makes the hair look so much more softer, so much more nicer, and just, I don't know, aesthetically pleasing, I'm not sure. So you want to do nice light strokes. Be very careful because if you mess up and do something like that, that does not look aesthetically pleasing. That is just creepy. But if you want to undo changes or redo, here are the edit. If you go into edit, it says undo and redo, or you can click Control Z to undo and Control Shift Z to redo, but we don't want that. So yeah, let's go ahead and do some nice smudging on the hair. I like to do it on the hair because it makes it look so much more prettier. If I'm just doing a regular LP or something like that, I try not to go too crazy on it, but sometimes I kind of just go a little too crazy. But I do like to make it look nice and soft and silky, not like my hair at all, folks. So once now that I'm done smudging the hair, I like to do the same to my shirts just to make it look a little more cleaner, because look at that already. That horrible pixely thing. Yep, see, I've made a mistake. So sometimes you gotta be a little less lazy like me and actually make a smaller brush and make it look a bit better. So that's a thing. And you can also zoom in using the zoom tool. So you can use your mouse to, like, if you, I guess, scroll up, you'll zoom in and zoom out to, yeah, you can zoom in and zoom out. I'm sorry, I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad. I am so sorry. But you can zoom in and whatnot to get a little more closer. That's what I always do for speed edits. So yeah. So we're going to go ahead, get a little close, and do some more editing. This also helps with, like, concealing the pixels, if that makes sense, because sometimes you can see pixels so much easily. Like, look at that. and look how nice that looks. Like, that looks so much better, so much more better. So we're gonna smudge all of this and that. See, look at that. Look at that improvement already, folks. That looks amazing. I may have messed up a bit over here, but it's fine. It's okay. It's not that noticeable. So I also like to do it with the skin because sometimes the skin will look a little pixely, so I always do it with the skin. And I just messed up. Love that. So, yeah, fun. So I also do it with the skin a bit, just in case the skin looks a little pixely, because that can happen quite frequently, especially if I'm using a skin detail. So I'll do that as well and fix up anything like that. It'll just make the picture look much better, trust me. And you know, it'll just make it look better. So for the face wise, I like to do a little more smudging on here than anything else. So what I do with the smudge tool is I'll usually size it down and zoom in, and I like to smudge my eyebrows a bit. I think it just makes the eyebrows look really pretty, I guess. I don't know. I just like to smudge in my eyebrows. And remember to use a nice light stroke. So I also like to zoom really close in and come into the eyes and do some more smudging. I don't know. I just like to do this. You don't have to do all of these things. I just like to do them. This is what I normally do. I'll even do these for like my tiny makeover videos and such. So if you're wondering, that's what I do. So I usually like to smudge this part, like the color part of your eye, I guess. I'm so bad at explaining things. And then I'll sometimes come into the black parts and sometimes the whites. And yeah, so next I will like to sometimes smudge the insides of the eye a bit, make it look a little more smoother. You know the drill here. And I'll do the same with the nose a bit, just like that. And probably the lipstick, because this lipstick does look a little pixely in my opinion. So I'm gonna do that as well. So we're gonna go ahead and make this brush a bit, oh god, that's a little too big. We don't want to smudge the teeth. So with the lips, you want to be a bit careful, because sometimes when you smudge it a certain way, it will actually make the lips look a little weird in a way, and it will make it look like, I don't know, it'll just make your lipstick look a little weird. So be careful with that. And I'm gonna fix the teeth a bit. And now let's zoom out. See, look at that lipstick. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna quickly come in here and fix the redness. It kind of looks red there. And I'm gonna fix, oh god, you literally cannot see that. Actually, let's zoom out. Let's fix that. It kind of is non-existent now. So we're gonna just do a little bit there, you know? Not too much. That looks better. Beautiful. So, now what should we do with the face? We could come over here and fix the hairline. I do tend to do this since I do have a hairline thing. Oh no, wrong brush. It's not time for highlighting. So, oh no, I think I made the brush up too big. Oh no, that's way too small. Oh my goodness. Okay, 6 seems good. So I'm gonna come over here and smudge that as well to make that look a little more softer as well. You don't have to do all of these details. I just personally like to do them. So yeah, I think that's really all smudging we need to do, really. I think that looks pretty good. So, now the next step that I like to do is kind of like, I guess, bronzing and contouring in a way. Over here, you probably are looking at the dodge tool or the burn tool, or you might be looking at the sponge tool, either one. But over here, it's right under the smudge tool. You want to shift and click on the burn tool. Now the burn tool is going to add some depth, I guess, if you want to call it like that. It's kind of like contouring in real life, but in the Sims, well, in Photoshop. So, this is the brush I use for burning. That sounds so bad. Burning my Sims. I use the soft round pressure opacity, And the hardness is at 0, and then the size, I don't know, that size looks okay for now. So that's what I use if you're wondering. So for this, I'm going to show you what it does. You want to be really careful with this because if you burn your Sims too much, it will kind of look a little crazy unless you really want it overly burnt, I guess. So this is what the burn tool does. As you can see, it almost adds a tan to your Sims, I guess, if you want to call it like that. And it also is going to add more depth, so I like to do it right like that. And I'll do it at the bottoms. And I'll also do it over here as well. And I'll do it right there, and then I'll do it over here as well, right there. And then let's do it, and I don't know, that looks a little too much. So I'll do it over here and then over here as well. And then I also like to do it with the hair to show some depth to the hair, you know. So we're gonna do that. That's looking pretty good already, gonna be honest here. And next, what I like to do is I like to come right under the chin to add some depth right there. That actually looks really bad. We're gonna fix the hairs. So let's go ahead and make this brush a teeny bit smaller. So I'll come under the chin like this, and this adds some depth, as you can see, to your Sim's chin to make it look more 3D-ish, I guess. And then we're gonna redo, oh no, I am so bad at this. We're gonna redo it under here as well. That adds some nice pretty depth. And then over here, that makes it look so much better, I think. You don't have to do it all over these places, but I definitely recommend over the twin, oh my god, over the chin, under the chin, oh my god, and then over on this side to add some depth. And I like to do it wherever there is a little more shadow, or for like clothes wise, it kind of makes sense because I don't know how that would make sense, but you know what I mean. So right there, right here, right there, over here, and I think that's pretty good. Maybe right there as well. And now for hair, this tool is going to really work with highlighting and just making the hair look so much more better and more like highly detailed. So any parts of the hair that seem darker than the hair itself, you want to definitely contour or burn. So right there. Next, I'm gonna do it right here. Actually, I don't know. We'll just keep it there for now. And then I'm gonna do it over there, right here, definitely over here to show some more depth since it gets darker here. And then over here, over there, maybe like over there, I guess, over here, over there. I think I'm overly doing it. You don't want to overly do it because then it looks a little too crazy, which I'm kind of doing right now, but it's gonna look better once when we highlight it. And for some reason, there's this weird thing right there. So I'm gonna fix that with this tool right here, the smudgy wedge tool. So I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was from burning, but who knows? So now the burning tool on the face. This is gonna get really fun. If you like makeup, this is gonna be really fun on your Sims. So we're gonna zoom on in here. So first, this is going to add some more depth to your Sim. So taking the burn tool, I recommend you kind of lower the not the opacity. You want to lower the size down since we're getting a little more deeper. But I'm gonna go ahead and burn right here as well to show some depth with the bangs, if that makes any sense. How does that look? That looks pretty good. Actually, I'm gonna redo that, and since there's like some spaces in between the bangs, I'm gonna show that, and then let's do it right like that. Sorry if I get like really quiet while I'm doing this. It's just gonna be me focusing, so don't mind that. And then next, what I like to do is lip lining. I don't know why I love to do this, but I think it just looks so pretty. We went to lip line over here, so I usually recommend you take the lip lining size of the lip liner to 7. And then for here, I'm just gonna just watch what I do, because if I talk and do this, it's just not gonna go pretty. So moment of silence here, folks. So gonna do that. And then we're just gonna try and line the lips as best as we can. pretty much like that. You can go over it again if you want. I'm also going to do it under here as well. And right here. And then I'm just going to quickly zoom out to make sure it doesn't look too crazy. I think that looks okay for now until we get into some highlighting. So now with the burn tool, we're gonna come over to the nose. Also, this is kind of gonna be with the lips as well, I guess. So for the burn tool, I think we should do something like that. Oh God, whoopsies. Okay, that does not look right. Maybe like that. No, okay. Ditch that plan. Maybe like that. I do sometimes like to go over the nose a bit, but that just does not look right. So maybe if we take the burn tool and we make it a bit bigger like that and do that, it might look a bit better. I'm not sure. Yeah, that looks good. And so next, what we're gonna do with the burn tool is, what should we do? Probably come in here a bit. Okay, that looks good. And right there? Yep, definitely. I do like to come into the eyes and add some shadowing with the burn tool. So we're gonna definitely make this brush very small. So maybe, yeah, 7 will work. So I'm gonna go right here, right there, just like that. Do the same over here. And I think that looks okay. Let me see. Yeah, once when we get in with the dodge tool, it'll look much better. So we're gonna do the same over on this side as well. So for the eyebrows, I'm just going to go over them with my burn tool. And then if we zoom out, I'm going to make sure that looks okay. That looks pretty good. So you can also do some contouring over here as well. Sometimes I do this, sometimes I don't. It just depends what I want to do, but I don't think she really needs any. Ooh, maybe like that. That looks pretty good. So that is pretty much all of the contouring, I guess, or burning. That's how it's called in Photoshop. So the next part is my favorite because you can kind of go wild with this because we're going to be highlighting. So in Photoshop, it's actually called the dodge tool. So if we right click on the burn tool, there should be a dodge tool button. It looks like a magnifying glass. Don't get it mixed up with this zoom tool. I know they look very similar. Same with this tool right here and the eraser button. I've always gotten mixed up with that and it is not fun, but the dodge tool is really like the highlighter in makeup, so this is going to be fun. Highlighter is my favorite, so we're going to have some fun. So any parts that you want to highlight and that look more lighter on the sim, you can definitely highlight those. So I'm going to make the brush 48 seems good. So where we like contoured, I'm going to go in with here. Over here with the highlighter, we could maybe go right here. How does that look? That looks a little too much, or maybe we should just keep it. We'll see. Oh God. Okay, let's see how this looks if I do that. I'm not a big fan. It makes her skin look really light, so I think we're gonna keep it like that. Maybe that she just has some shoulder highlighting. Who knows? So we're gonna do it like that, and then we're definitely gonna come into the hair. Hair highlighting is my favorite part. So any parts of the hair that you want to highlight or parts that are lighter, go ahead and dodge them, I guess. So in here, we're gonna highlight right there, right here, right there, right there. And I think up here more, over there, over here, and I think more in the bangs. I don't know if I already did this, but there's some more highlighting, folks. And then over there, I think that looks pretty good. And actually, I think I'm going to quickly highlight down here as well. I fully forgot to do that, so we're going to do that. So we're going to do right there, right here, right there, right there. Sorry if I get like really quiet at some parts because I'm just going to be focusing since, you know, this is going to be the thumbnail for the video as well, folks. So now we're going to zoom into the face. Definitely the chin. That's a must. So we're going to do right there. How's that look? Okay. Yeah, this is not going good. Let's go ahead and maybe take this down a bit. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. Now that should look a bit better. You know what? Let's just hold off for now. Let's just hold off. I get really picky with this. So the highlighted parts I have from highlighter in the game, I'm going to go over those a bit. So over here, right there, and right there. I'm gonna quickly zoom out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I am very picky with this, so don't mind me, folks. So now the lipstick, I do like to highlight that since we did just bronze it, contour it. Oh my god. So we're gonna do that like this. I'm actually gonna quickly redo this. Just like that. That looks awesome. There we go for the lips. That's what we're gonna do. Make sure that looks good quickly, that I like it. Looks okay. So now over by the lips, there is some highlighted parts here, so I'm gonna do those as well. So right there, right here, and right there. Hopefully that looks okay. Yes, that looks amazing. That's like my favorite part. Okay, so now for the eyes, I definitely want to do some highlighting over here since we did contour. So in here, I'm going to highlight over here, especially if there's like some pixelated parts in the eyes. This will help keeping the insides white. And then I'm going to come in here and highlight, definitely do the white speckles as well. And then I'm going to do the same over here. I think it's already looking so much more better. I love doing this part. This is literally my favorite part of the whole entire process. I know this seems like a lot, but trust me, at the end, this is going to make everything look so much more better. So, let's go ahead and do some highlighting. I think we could do some up here. I feel like we're doing makeup right now. This is so funny. You don't have to do all of this highlighting. This is just my personal preference, what I like to do. So you don't gotta do it. You don't have to. You can do you. Figure out what works for you. But that's what I personally like to do. So, okay. I think all that highlighting looks really good. And I think I just want to use the burn tool over here on her freckle. Just to show some more depth, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna take the brush down and just add some depth. Oh, lordy. That is not depth if I've ever seen anything. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Okay, you know what? Scratch that plan out. We're not gonna do that unless that looks better. That looks much better. Okay. So that's gonna be like all of the, I guess, fixing up on the sim. You don't have to do all of that. You can do way much more, I guess, lighter fix ups, but that's personally what I like to do. That takes the most longest. Other than this, it's gonna get really simple after this. So backgrounds, that's what you probably want to use the most. So for backgrounds, I sometimes like to go on the internet and search something up, or you can use something like a solid color over here, or you can do a gradient. I'll quickly show you how to do that. I'll usually add a new layer, and let's go ahead and use the paint tool here. This is the paint tool, and then I have my brush set at 5,000, so I can easily just click and do that. And so from here, what you can do is if you click on blending options, you can choose a pattern overlay. You can see all the patterns they have and not, or you can take the gradient overlay, and that's gonna add a little effect. There's a lot of styles you can choose from. Oh my god, I didn't show you how to get into blending options. I am so sorry. Okay, so if you don't know how to get into blending options, you can right click and come over here to blending options. I'm so sorry. I'm not good at explaining things. This is what I mean. So you can do color overlays, say you don't like the color, but for gradients, you can choose the colors that you want and whatnot. You can do all of these funny things, you know, but if you want to add on something from the web, I'm going to quickly get that off. Okay, so if you want to take something on from the internet, I'm going to quickly show you how to do that. Okay, so say that you wanted, I don't know, maybe you wanted a Del Sol Valley background, I guess. Del Sol Valley background. That's something you can put in. I certainly do these for like townie makeovers. Like when I choose my townie, I'll figure out what town they live in and I'll search up that town on the internet. And I'll use that for the background if you wanted to know. So, where is one? Here's one. Here's a good one. So, say you wanted this, or actually, what looks like a good example? Let's do this one. Right click on copy image, and then you want to come down into Photoshop here, and you can also, Actually, I don't think you can do it on here. No, you can't. Okay, so once when you've copied your image, you want to click on your keyboard, Control V to paste, and now you should see your background. You're pretty much just want to, free transform it as I did show you with the sim. So for images, I think if you actually want to have it like clipped to the background more and it's more easier to row click, then click shift while you move, holding shift, and then it's more easier. Don't know why it's not like that for the sim, but when you do that, it looks very pixely, and when this is used as a thumbnail, it's not going to look very good. So if you're going to use something like this, I totally recommend you blur out the background a bit. So Gaussian blur, that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So what I like to do for things like this, I'll come up into filters, and then I'll go into blur, Gaussian blur, and then this is gonna blur out your background. This is gonna focus on your sim if that's what you want. So that's something that you can do to more focus on your sim. And of course, if you go all the way up to here, that's gonna really blur it out the most. So yeah. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. What I like to do a lot when I figure out the background or whatnot, or gradient, what I love to do, I do this in my 100 baby challenge thumbnails. I actually search up on the web a thumbnail of like a plumb bob background, and we're gonna lower the opacity, and it looks really cool, especially when you're doing sims. Okay, so this is the one I use, sims for plumb bob backgrounds. So you want to right click, copy image, and then come into here, Control V. This is what I like to do a lot. It looks really cool, trust me guys. So you want to come into free transform and make sure it fits the width and height of your background, just like this. And now what I like to do is come up into image adjustments, and I like to go into hue and saturation, and over there you can change the brightness and stuff of your images and stuff. So I like to come into lightness and make the plumb bobs really light like that. And then what I like to do is come up over here, make sure you're selected on your plumb bob layer if you're doing what I'm doing, and then you want to come over to where it says opacity and click that, and then you can lower it down to as much as you want. Like, look how cool that is. I love it. It looks so freaking cool. And that's what I like to do a lot with my backgrounds. I think it kind of looks cool since, we're playing The Sims. Why not do that? So we're going to keep it like that. And it also kind of adds a filter, I guess, to your background. But if you do want to brighten your background, you can come into adjustments, brightness and contrast, and you can do that. So I kind of like it like that. So once when you have your background done, I'm gonna quickly delete this layer since we're not using it. But now what I like to do for my sims, I do like to add some depth onto my sim and kind of make my sim pop out more. So that's like the main thing I want to show off in this thumbnail, my sim and some words. So for my sim, make sure you're selected on this part, not this part, but this part, and right click, and you want to come into blending options, and it's going to show all of these things like where the gradient overlay was in that other layer. So what I like to do is come into drop shadow and make a drop shadow of my stem. So over here is the opacity. I think we could do that looks pretty good. You probably don't want it too much. I think keeping the distance to 0 is good. You can also choose the spread. I think that looks good, and then you can choose the size as well. I think that looks pretty good. You can also change the color up here if you were wondering. Maybe we could do like a yellow. A yellow would kind of look cool. Okay, I kind of like that. We're gonna go with that. And then next, what I like to do is you can copy my I guess settings over here. I usually change it like all the time. I keep the angle at 90 usually. Sometimes I'll change it in like if I'm watching a tutorial or whatnot. But next, what I love to do is come into a stroke. This is gonna add an outline around your sim. So what I like to do is change the size down. I think that looks good. And then what I like to do is come over to opacity and change the opacity to make it more lighter. I love doing this. I don't know what it is about it, but I think it looks so cool and so different, and I just love to do it with all of my Sims. I'll do it in my tiny makeover thumbnails a lot, especially because I think it looks really cool. That looks really nice. I like that. And next, what I like to do is check on inner glow. This is gonna like add an inner glow, I guess, if you look very closely on the like ends, the outer corners of my sim. If you look, it's gonna make it a little more brighter. So I'm gonna change the opacity. Okay, that's a little too much. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna change the opacity to 50. You can copy my settings if you like, but sometimes I change them differently, sometimes I don't. You know the drill. And then there's all these other things. I usually don't mess with them. Sometimes I'll mess with texture on my font, which we'll get to in a minute. So, that barely does anything, so I'm not gonna have that on. You can also do inner shadows and whatnot. Outer glow, oh, that looks really pretty. We're gonna do that. So outer glow, you can change the color over here. We could do like a nice pretty, what should we do? A nice pretty yellow. Maybe like, that looks really nice. Or we could do like a blue. I think the blue looks really nice with her hair. So let's do a nice blue maybe. Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna do a blue, and you can change the opacity down if you like. I'm gonna change it down because it just makes it look a little more cleaner, I guess. You can change it to whatever you want. I think that looks pretty good. So we're gonna do it like that. You can change whatever you want. You can also change your settings to this. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for in terms of like the background, like I guess the I don't know, the outline of my sim. I think it's gonna make your sim pop out more, stand out more from the background and such. So yeah, so okay. If you're like, say you have two sims and you want to do the same thing you did over here that we just did, the outlines and whatnot, and you want to do like a quick little way on how to do that, if you right click on the layer, you should see a thing that says copy layer style. And then when you copy that, say this was my second sim and I want the same layer style that I just did on her on this sim. Pretend I have a second sim. Actually, hold up. Let me quickly duplicate. If you want to know how to duplicate your layers, you can come down here and click on this button to make a new layer and you'll duplicate it. Or you can come up here and click, where is it? Oh my god, where is it? Oh my god, why can't I find this? A duplicate layer, you can do that as well. So let's pretend, okay, here's my second sim, folks. So let's clear the layer here. So also, if you don't like the layer style you just did, you can click clear layer style. But so I'm gonna clear it on here for the sake of the tutorial. So clear layer style. So say I want the same layer style I just did on her over here. So you can now right click on this. Since we just copied the layer style on her, we can come over here and click paste, and look, we don't have to do that over again. We have it. It's magic. Wonderful job, Photoshop. You saved a lot of time in my day to try and remember the settings over there. So I'm just gonna quickly delete that because, you know, I only have one sim. So next, what we're gonna do is the font. For font, it's really easy. It shows a T for like text, you know. So you want to click and drag. You can find a lot of fonts on font.com. I'm gonna quickly pick a font. So okay. So I'm just gonna delete all of this because if you have a custom font, you do have to have a little struggle and have to delete all of the font that they give you, which is a lot. So I'm gonna speed this up to like get all of this done. Oh, okay. Anyways, that was not that hard. Okay, so I guess we could put Photoshop tutorial. We could do that, or just thumbnail tutorial. Which one is better? That's actually kind of hard. I'm gonna look at some other people's thumbnails and then I'll get back to you all because this is hard. We're just gonna do thumbnail tutorial because that's what I see a lot of people do. So we're gonna do thumbnail. I'm gonna do a tutorial in a separate one because I like to do different colors and stuff. So we're gonna do thumbnail, and so now I'm gonna choose my font. So when you're choosing font, make sure you highlight your your letters, I guess. So all you have to do is click and drag like that, and over here will show all of your fonts. So if you downloaded your custom fonts correctly, or if you have custom fonts, they should show up over here in alphabetical order. So I'm gonna quickly choose mine. I recommend to do something that's not like cursive, because it's gonna be really hard to, you know, decipher, I guess, as a thumbnail, because of course the thumbnail is gonna be like zoomed down more when someone's searching up your video. So just to let you all know, that's just some things that I've seen as tips. You honestly don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. I think I kind of like this one. It's nice, it stands out, and it's easy to read. So now we have to choose a color. So make sure you select your your font, and then you can come over here, and this is the color bar, and so you can actually copy the colors and stuff. So say I wanted blue, I can copy it. Say I want yellow, I can copy it, but I think I'm actually gonna do yellow. We're gonna do like a little pattern, so we're gonna do yellow and then blue. So here we go, we have thumbnail. So if you like want to do, I don't know, like arced font where it like comes out from side to side, I'm gonna quickly show you how to do that. So make sure you underline your font. You're gonna need to underline your font for a lot of things in here. So you want to come over to here, and you can see all these styles. So say I want arced, I can do that and mess with the settings and whatnot. So over here you can change the font size. I'm gonna keep it by 36, and when I free transform this, I can change the font size if I want to. So I think I'm gonna do that. So over here we're gonna do free transform and size this up, I think, a bit more, because I'm not a big fan with like the presets you get to size up your font. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so next, for if you're looking at this font right now, from far away, it's gonna be a little hard to kind of figure out what that says, especially since I chose the color yellow. So make sure that you do like a color that's easy to see. If you're doing like a pastel, I recommend you kind of outline your font, which I'm gonna show you how to do so it's more noticeable. So just how we did with blending options, we're pretty much gonna do the same thing with the font. So I'm gonna right click on thumbnail, and I'm gonna go into blending options. So this is what I normally like to do. I definitely like to do a drop shadow, because that is going to, you know, show some more depth, and you're going to be able to see it already better. So look at that improvement already, folks. Looking pretty good. So, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe lower the opacity. That looks okay. So next, I love to do strokes. It's amazing, but I think I'm actually going to do it about that much. We do like to see it as much as possible. That looks good. That's already making improvement. Next, what I love to do all the time, this is like my fetish whenever I am making fonts, I guess. Well, editing fonts, I like to check on texture. Look at that. I love that. It looks so pretty. I love it. I don't know. I recommend you do it. I think it looks kind of cool. And you can do inner glow. I think I'm going to do that. Maybe lower the opacity a bit. Yeah, that looks good. And then you can also do satin and stuff like this. And if you want to do a gradient, it's so much easier than it was in GIMP. Trust me, guys. I think we should do like an outer glow maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure. I think that looks good. Maybe like in a white. Yeah, I like it in the white. It just, you know, it shows off the font much better. So I think I'm going to do that, and I love how that looks. So I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to move my font around a bit. I think that looks good. So next, we're going to do the same thing, but in a different, we're going to add some more fonts. So I'll be back with you guys when I add that. Okay, so I just added some more font. So you know how I really like this layer style. We're going to go ahead and copy the tutorial layer style. Hold up, why can I not copy this? Something is wrong, folks. Hold on. Let me see if I can fix. Oh, I pressed the wrong layer. Go me. I am so stupid. Okay, so I just copied the thumbnail layer style, and we're going to go ahead and right click on this, and we're going to paste, and look. It's magically been formed over here. This already is looking so good. You don't even have to add anything else if you don't want to, but I'm going to show you some things that I love to do to add some more pizzazz to my thumbnails. So when this is done, what I like to do is definitely brighten my thumbnails. We're going to be using some PSDs. So, yes, it sounds scary at first, but trust me, it's really easy. And I'm going to leave my favorite PSD down in the description below for you to download. And this is going to brighten up your thumbnail so much, and it's going to look so much better. Trust me, I will show you how it looks like with and without. It's going to look so much better. So what you want to do is quickly download the PSD that I'm going to put down in the description below. And when it's downloaded and you have it saved in your file somewhere, you don't have to put it in your game at all. Just save it in your documents or in a place that you're going to be able to find it easily. I put mine where all my thumbnails are. So once we have it saved and downloaded and whatnot, come up here into your file, click file, and then you want to click open. And mine is in my thumbnail, YouTube thumbnails. It should be here. Did I accidentally delete it again? I think I did. Actually, it should be in my desktop. It should be, yeah. I accidentally deleted my YouTube thumbnails one day. It wasn't fun. But this is the PSD that I'm going to be showing you. It's Happy Pills by Nookstones. This is my favorite go-to one a lot. I found this from Shipty. Totally recommend it. So we're going to go ahead and open this. And this is what it looks like. This is a PSD. So what you want to do first is do the same thing that we did when we were adding in our sim to this untitled document, I guess. So you want to click and drag so it looks like this and it is minimized, I guess. And you want to take this layer with the purple eye. We're going to click on that and drag it over here. Look at that. Look how much that brightened up, y'all. That is a lot. So I am not a big fan of how bright it is. So we're going to come over here and lower the opacity, and it's going to filter this, and it's going to look so much more brighter, so much more better, folks. It's looking better already. I think it looks good right about there. I think it looks good just like that. So here's with it on. Here's with it off. Look at that improvement. Look how much brighter it's gotten. That's really gonna help, trust me. So, yeah, that's a big step of improvement, just letting you all know. There are so many PSDs you can download for your thumbnails, and they all work super nicely. I have 2 other ones. I will try and leave download links down below to them. I have this red velvet one, and I have this retro one. What we're going to do is we're pretty much done with making this thumbnail. This is literally in a nutshell of what I do whenever I make a thumbnail, but there's going to be a few more other things that I do. So you want to come down to this background layer, the first layer that was created when we first started this hectic tutorial, I guess. So you want to right click and you want to click flatten image, but make sure you are done adding things to your thumbnail before we do this, because this is going to merge all of these together. So make sure you have it done and ready to go. So when you're ready, click flatten image, and we're gonna click OK, and now it's just made this into one background. So what I first like to do is actually come over here into filters, and I go into render and click lens flare. This is like adding a little sun to your background. There are so many different ones you can do. I'm gonna do this one. You can lower down the brightness. I usually just keep it at 100, I think. I finally figured out how I want it. I think I lowered the opacity down a bit, so I'll quickly show you what I did if you want to copy me, which is fine, I get it. I lowered it down to 73 and I moved it over here if you just wanted to know, because when I first tried to make a thumbnail, I did copy someone else just to, get the hang of it, so I understand. But after this, I do like to add like a little frame. I get my frames from a free thumbnail making site, and it's called Canva. So we're gonna come over here into file and then click open, and then I'm gonna go into, I think I have it in my pictures, I'm not exactly sure. Yeah, I do. Okay, this is my favorite one right here. This is literally my favorite one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click and drag it just as how we've been doing over here, and then I'm gonna quickly free transform this to the way I like it. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to use my magic wand tool, and I'm just going to click delete, because honestly it doesn't really matter about free masking it. You can if you like, but now we're going to come into free transform, and you can move the frame wherever you want it. I'm going to move it down here a bit. If you do use the shift and drag, it's going to make it a little more easier to move. In terms of Sims, I don't know why it's like that. For me, maybe it's not for you. Who knows? My computer can be a little weird sometimes. And so now I'm going to right click and go into blending options, and I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to make it white. That's usually what I do, just like that. And then I'll add a drop shadow. Oh, I love that. It's like my holy grail. I just love it. And maybe we'll add like texture to it to blend in with the font a bit. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. I love this thumbnail, folks. It's beautiful. But after that, we're gonna go ahead and come to the background and right click and click flatten. And now the last and final step is I'm gonna come into my filters, click sharpen, smart sharpen, and this is going to smart sharpen your image and make things stand out a little more. And so this is usually what I use. This is my settings. If you want to copy them, I'm fine with that, you know. So after you've made your sharpening amount that you want, you can go ahead and click OK. And if we go over here to undo, that's actually going to smart sharpen them a bit. I'm gonna actually do it twice. Now you can probably see an improvement. So okay, so that's now how it looks like. It's gonna sharpen your image more, and it's going to, you know, make things pop and more easier to read. So yeah, there you go, folks. This is how I make my thumbnails. If this did help you, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up so I know you liked it. If you quickly want to know how to save these to your I guess to your, oh my god, save this to your computer, you want to come over here into file, click export, quick export as PNG, and then you can name it as whatever you want. I'm just going to name this as thumbnail tutorial. There we go, folks. Nice and easy. And then I'm just going to save it in my YouTube thumbnails. Yeah, there we go. Now that it's saved, it should be saved to your desktop. I double check before you exit out of the program. But that is my tutorial on how I make my thumbnails. I hope this helped you out. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me them. I will definitely answer them because I understand making thumbnails is so hard when you first start. But once when you understand the basics and how to make them, it gets so much more easier. You can try out so many new things. If you do want more tutorials like this, let me know down in the comments. And if you do want an updated GIMP tutorial in GIMP on how you can do something similar to this, let me know down in the comments, and I will definitely try and get a video like that out. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy, be sure to click that subscribe button and that bell so you will not miss any of my uploads. Thank you all so much for watching yet again, and I hope to see all of you Simmer sisters in my next video. Bye, everybody.
Adobe